The ring she slipped off her finger landed on the kitchen counter with a faint clink, but it echoed through my chest like a gunshot. "I'm single now," she said, her voice calm, steady, too steady. I just stood there, gripping the edge of the counter so hard my knuckles went white. The woman who once cried in my arms on our wedding night now looked at me as if I were a stranger in her house. We had been married for 7 years. 7 years of scraped knees, late-night laughter, and whispered apologies under the same blanket. Emma and I were the couple everyone said was perfect. We hosted dinners, went on spontaneous weekend trips, and still held hands when we crossed the street. But perfection has a way of hiding cracks until it shatters. Began 6 months ago. Subtle things. A password changed for security reasons. Her phone never leaving her hand, even when she went to the bathroom. The scent of a cologne I didn't wear clinging faintly to her jacket after work events. When I asked, she'd smile and say, "You're imagining things, Mark." And I wanted so badly to believe her. But tonight, this wasn't imagination. "Why are you doing this?" asked my voice hoarse. "What's happening to us, Emma?" She looked down at the ring for a moment, then back at me. "I'm tired, Mark. I'm tired of pretending. Of waking up next to you and feeling nothing. You deserve someone who loves you the way you love them." It sounded rehearsed, like a line she'd practiced in the mirror. "Who is he?" I asked quietly. Her lips parted slightly. She didn't deny it. "Emma, look at me," I said, stepping closer. "Just tell me the truth." Tears welled in her eyes, but they weren't from guilt. They were from fear. Fear of getting caught in her own web. "His name's Adrian," she whispered. "He works at the firm." My breath caught. Adrian. Her boss. The man who sent her flowers when she got promoted. The man who shook my hand at her office party and called me lucky. I almost laughed. Almost. But the sound that escaped was more like a choke. That night I didn't sleep. The house that had once felt warm now felt like a museum of broken promises. Her perfume lingered on the pillow next to me. Her toothbrush still beside mine in the bathroom. But she wasn't there. She'd gone to clear her head. I stared at the ceiling, thinking of every time she'd said, "I love you." Every touch, every smile, and wondering which ones were real. Morning came too soon. I drove to work in silence, numb. My colleagues asked if I was okay. I lied and said I was just tired. But by noon I wasn't tired anymore. I was angry. Not just at her but at myself. For ignoring the signs. For defending her lies. For thinking love alone could save a dying marriage. So I did what any broken man would do. I started digging. Adrian's social media was a goldmine. Smiling photos at conferences, dinners, business trips. And there, in one photo from 3 weeks ago, was Emma's reflection in a hotel window. Same dress she'd worn on her girls' night. Same necklace I'd gifted her on our anniversary. It wasn't even hidden. Just a ghost in the glass, my ghost. My hands trembled as I saved the image. Proof. Not that it mattered. She'd already confessed. But something inside me needed to see it, to anchor the betrayal to something tangible. By the time she came home that evening, I was calm. Too calm. She walked in, surprised to see me sitting at the dining table, laptop open. "Mark," she said softly. "I didn't expect you." I turned the screen toward her. The photo glowed between us. She froze. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she let out a shaky sigh. "I didn't want you to find out like this." I laughed bitterly. "Really? Because it looks like you weren't trying very hard to hide it." "Mark, I never meant to hurt you," she said. "It just happened." "That's the thing about affairs," I said. "They don't just happen. You make them happen. Every text, every lie, every time you came home late smelling like someone else. You chose that." Her eyes filled with tears again. "I didn't mean for it to go this far." I leaned forward. "How far did it go?" She hesitated. "We've been seeing each other for almost a year." The words sliced through me like ice. A year. A whole year of dinners, anniversaries, shared beds, while she lived a second life. I stood up slowly, my voice low but steady. You could have told me before wasting a year of my life. I was afraid, she whispered. No, I said. You were comfortable. That night she packed a small bag. I didn't stop her. I watched her walk out the door, the same door we'd entered as newlyweds 7 years ago. The silence that followed was suffocating. For weeks I went through the motions of living, working, eating, sleeping, but everything felt hollow. People said time heals, but time only stretches the ache into something duller, not softer. And then one morning I got an email from Emma. Mark, I'm sorry. Adrian's leaving me. I made a mistake. I realize now what I lost. Can we talk, please? I stared at the message for a long time. I thought about our wedding vows, about her laughter, about how I once believed she was my forever. Then I thought about the night she slipped off her ring and declared herself single. So I replied, let's meet at the cafe near the lake. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. She arrived early, wearing the same red coat I'd bought her years ago. Her hair was shorter, her eyes heavier. Mark, she said as I approached, her voice trembling. I've missed you. I sat down across from her, silent. I was stupid, she said. Adrian used me. I thought what we had was real, but it wasn't. You were the only real thing in my life. Her words dripped with regret, but I couldn't tell if it was love or loneliness speaking. I want to make things right, she whispered. Can we start over? I looked at her, really looked at her. The same woman who'd once promised forever now sat before me, desperate to rewrite the past. Then I smiled. You're right. We should start over. Her eyes brightened with hope. You mean it? Yes, I said, reaching into my pocket. But not how you think. I placed a small envelope on the table. Inside was a copy of our divorce papers, signed. Her face fell. Mark, please don't do this. I already did, I said quietly. You told me you were single. I just decided to believe you. Tears streamed down her cheeks. I made a mistake. So did I said, standing. I mistook comfort for love and loyalty for permanence. I turned to leave but paused. You took off your ring and said you were single. Now you are. As I walked away, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Peace. The lake glimmered under the fading sun, calm and endless. I slipped my own wedding band off and let it fall into the water. It sank without a sound. For years I'd believed love meant holding on, forgiving, enduring. But sometimes love means knowing when to let go. And as I walked into the growing dusk, I realized she hadn't shocked me that night. I had shocked her, by finally choosing myself.